welcome back to another episode of Alec and Wyatt Weekly. I'm Alec McChesney.
And I'm Wyatt Wheeler.
Surprisingly, I'm still Alec McChesney, and he's still Wyatt Wheeler.
Yeah.
We survived Lily Johnson and Emily Butters. What happened?
Well, the night before, I couldn't sleep. I was scared. I woke up early the next morning, just couldn't sleep. It was scary.
When we were there, Lily and Emily, at one point decided whether or not they should take our heads off with spikes. Thank goodness they didn't.
They barely missed, though.
Yes.
It was that close.
It was accidental luck, but we did survive. We're not very good at volleyball, but according to Lily, we could play intramurals and be first-round draft picks.
Number 1 and 2.
That's a big statement coming from her, so that's I really appreciate
That's
that.
the nicest thing somebody said to me about my volleyball ability.
Let's talk about other potential first-round draft picks, though. Jake Berger led the baseball Bears this weekend to a sweep over Dallas Baptist University. What happened this weekend?
Well, Jake Berger, along with some other Bears, took a lot of trips to #Dongtown. And so that's a list of Jeremy Ironman, Missouri Valley Player of the Week, Justin Paulson, Aaron Meyer. It was just a good all-around.
Matt Brown had his first home run of the Bears season. So
10 trips to Dongtown.
What else happened, though? Jordan Knudsen had 13 strikeouts.
Pitcher of the Week.
Yeah.
And it's when everything was clicking. So that's that. Best all-around series I had this season against the Missouri Valley, reigning Missouri Valley champs.
So we always talk about how last year they struggled in Missouri Valley. 6-0 to start the year, sweep of Bradley, sweep of Dallas Baptist. They lost to Kansas on Tuesday, but it almost seems like they're gearing up more for these Missouri Valley games. What kind of statement did this leave for the Valley?
Especially when you talk to them too, you could tell Coach Gutton won't say it, but the players really want these Missouri Valley Conference games. But this sent a message to everyone. The Bears are the favorites in the Valley. There's no question about it, especially when you go sweep Dallas Baptist.
Right.
Dallas Baptist as a baseball powerhouse.
Right.
Missouri State re-emphasized that they are
and at this point, if they continue playing like this, they could almost get an at-large bid, even if they didn't end up winning the Missouri Valley Conference, which is huge to have that kind of comfort to know, okay, we don't have to win the conference tournament as long as we win the conference, because typically whoever wins the conference likely will get an at-large bid. It's nice to see everything clicking at one time. Also, what's clicking, Missouri State softball.
Pitching, right?
Pitching has been absolutely incredible.
Knudsen got Pitcher of the Week for baseball.
Caitlin Beeson gets it for softball. She actually almost had the first no-hitter in Missouri State softball for this season, but she unfortunately lost it in the 7th inning. Only needed 2 more outs to complete the no-hitter, but she did get the shutout. They swept Indiana State on Saturday in the doubleheader, eventually lost on Sunday on a walk-off. Pitching was still incredible. Only 3 earned runs the whole weekend. The hitting, they only scored 4 or 5 runs the whole weekend, but they're getting the hits they need with how good their pitching has been, and Holly Kelly, Caitlin Beeson have been fantastic, so much so that the point, a team that finished in 7th last year is in that top 1-2 range with Wichita State. This weekend, the softball Bears are going to play Evansville. Then next weekend, travel to Wichita State for one of the last matchups.
Will we be traveling to Wichita State
ever
soon?
Again?
Ever again?
Likely not. Why not?
Well, Wichita State is
officially.
They hated the Missouri Valley. I don't know if they did that or not. They probably liked it because they won all the time, but they want bigger and better things.
Wichita State was the
American Athletic Conference is that bigger and better thing.
They were the longest standing team in the conference since 1945, and basically since Creighton left in 2013, they were the only basketball team in the conference. No disrespect to the other teams, but Wichita State is the reason those other teams had that talk about them like that. They were a good mid-major team. So what does this mean for Missouri State going forward?
I think it's disappointing for the whole Valley.
Right.
Because Wichita State's up there while they're down here. You want your conference to get up here.
Right.
Instead, them going off means it's probably going to stay down here.
Right.
So teams are going to shoot to be more mediocre instead of bad.
Right.
They're not going to shoot to be great like Wichita State was. But I think it definitely paves the way for Missouri State men's basketball to be
the top dog,
considered the favorite going into this upcoming season.
Yeah, I think there are really 2 ways to take that. Wichita State leaves, so there's an opening at the top of the conference. There's going to be more competitive basketball. That's one way. I don't take it that way. I take it as Wichita State's gone. Missouri Valley is now one of the weaker conferences in that mid-major realm. There's no one there that, opponents want to schedule because it's going to be a great non-conference game. They'll want to schedule you because they're going to win. The RPI of the conference goes down. The revenue from postseason basketball is going to go down. And likely there will not be an at-large bid from the Missouri Valley for a long time until they add in, another. We were trying to talk about another powerhouse they could add, but there aren't any. No one wants to come to the Missouri Valley.
Who would want to come? Well, it's kind of who would want to come and win every game, but
exactly.
But that's how weird this landscape is right now, and that's why Wichita State's trying to go play teams like UConn.
Right, and they lost. 5-6 years ago, or I guess 2012, 2013, Creighton left. They added Loyola Chicago, who has blatantly disappointed. Pretty much, they haven't lived up to any expectations. They haven't had a winning record yet in the conference. I don't know if you add another Loyola, what that even does to the conference. They're talking about Valpo, they're talking about Murray State. Both those teams are good, but that's just keeps you right here.
You don't want to be right there.
Right here. You need to make a move to elevate the play, and I don't think that they're going to be able to do that anytime soon. So,
also something we won't be seeing anytime soon.
Wow!
Unfortunately, is field hockey at Missouri State as they played their final home game. It was really nice to see them get the recognition they deserve. The love and support from the Springfield community definitely showed. It's just a heartbreaking thing you don't want to see a team full of girls who've grown close together go through. But it was nice to see Springfield community show out and give them what they deserve.
As JoJo would say, it was just too little, too late for the fans and the community to come out and say they support, but you're right. It was nice to see other teams from Missouri State show up. It was nice to see parents, come and go to those games or go to that game because they needed that. That can get them a little bit of closure with the event, and that's tough. That's never going to be an easy situation, and I'm glad that they kind of had a good send off.
It seemed like just looking through photos and. Yeah. It seemed like they were able to smile, they were able to cry. Right. It just seemed like a great day for field hockey for the team.
Yeah. Well, this week we've got a couple big things going on. Bears baseball is going to head to Arkansas, which is...
We're going to stay home against Arkansas, big Tuesday night game, and then they're going to head to New Mexico for the Easter week.
Now, Arkansas is a pretty tough team, right?
Number 15 team in the country, coming off one win against LSU. Also ranked, and it's just another big-time game for Missouri State. Of course, we remember 2 years ago when they lost to Arkansas in the Super Regional round. So Arkansas is kind of a rival with the baseball team. It's a big-time event that a lot of people should be showing up to.
Yeah, I expect that to be a pretty packed game. Hopefully the weather stays nice. They don't have to bump up the game like they've had to the last few Tuesdays. As for softball, they're going to play Evansville this weekend before playing Wichita State next weekend. But basketball... Unfortunately, or fortunately, whichever way you take it, is going to be back in the limelight this week as National Letter of Intent Day. But what might happen this week that some people in Springfield might not be excited to hear about?
Well, they might hear some of their favorite players might be transferring out, but they're, as Paul Lusk has done in the past, he brings in these big transfer guys that ends up being Alizé Johnson. So
Daquan Miller.
There could be some excitement coming from this week that we won't really know much about
until it happens.
Until November.
Okay. Yeah, I guess because you won't really know what they're about or until they start actually getting to practice. But there's definitely a lot of excitement going on with baseball and softball and National Letter of Intent Day. That'll do it for another episode of Alec and Wyatt Weekly. I'm Alec McChesney.
I'm Wyatt Wheeler, and we're not playing Lily Johnson and Emily Butters this week, so we'll probably be back next week.
I can count on that.
There we go.
Absolutely. That was good.
I will be back.